Good morning, evening, afternoon, whenever the heck you're listening to this. Welcome back to Nathanael. My name is Evan.
Oh yeah, I'm back, guys. This is Nathanael. I was absent last week. Thanks for introducing me, Evan.
We gathered the 7 Dragon Balls and brought them back to life. And with us today, we have another friend of ours named David, even though he's a different David, but not any less in value. You can say hi, David?
Hi, I'm David.
So welcome back to Nerdin' Out. We got some news. We got some news for us today. Do you wanna kick us off, Nathaniel?
Sure. God of War 4. I mean, it's just called God of War. It's like set in Norse mythology type place with
I'm really excited for it.
I'm so excited. It's supposed to be like pretty long, more than 20 hours. Basically, Kratos has like started a family and he has like a kid, and the kid walks around with him on his journey. And I'm not gonna go too much into it, but basically, it comes out April 20th, and I'm pretty excited about this. It looks really, really good if you've seen the trailers.
What system is it for?
PlayStation 4.
Ha!
Only
exclusive.
Sorry,
suck it, suck it, Xbox.
No.
Yeah, David has an Xbox One, so he's gonna miss out, unfortunately.
Yeah, our next game is also a PlayStation exclusive. Evan, can you tell us about this one?
Oh, Shadow of the Colossus remake is coming out on February 6th, and I unfortunately will be out of town and I won't be able to get it when it comes out, but I tell you what, I'm going to get it when I come back, and that was probably one of my favorite games growing up, and it looks like, I've seen some gameplay already, it looks amazing, like, and it has like different ways you can play it, like you can have like a cinematic mode, you can have a performance mode, and so it has like different frames per second or whatever.
And it has a photo mode, you can take pretty pictures.
Yeah, it looks amazing, and there's some people complaining that like the art style is different and whatever. I think to hell with them, it looks amazing. So
next up this week, Assassin's Creed Origins had its first story DLC. So the hidden ones. David, you know more about that than us.
Yeah, so the most recent Assassin's Creed game is one of my favorite Assassin's Creed games yet. It was really fun to play. The world is massive. Yeah. It has so many areas, and I didn't explore the whole map until I was like almost done with the game. And then at that point, I had to intentionally go to all the areas to explore them. So it's a huge game.
So now they've got DLC, so more game.
Yeah, so there's even more game coming out, and I don't know what to expect. I'm going to download it very soon, and I'm really excited about playing that.
Cool. Well, definitely let us know how that is. Also, Dragon Ball FighterZ has been released.
Which is kind of a transition into stuff we're into, because Evan has been playing Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so I pre-ordered it and it came out.
He's not that excited.
It came out yesterday and I had it pre-ordered and I picked it up, and I was only able to get about like 2 hours of gameplay in, but man, like, it's so fluid, and it's so, you can pick it up, and if you're not like really into fighting games, you can pick it up and learn how to, it's so easy to play. And what was really cool is so I picked up my sisters, and then one of their friends came over. He's one of the youth kids that I work with, whatever. He came over, and his name is Mark. He never played any like fighting games like that before. And then, so when he came over, we played one-on-one together. He picked it up like really quick. It's super easy.
Does he like Dragon Balls?
He knows of it. I wouldn't say he's a fan of it.
He still had a good time.
But he still had a good time. So like, I think you don't necessarily have to be a fan of this to play it and enjoy it. And it has a story mode to it that is actually relatively like decent, and it's actually really, I think it's really good.
And they have, I think, a new character that was like Toriyama oversaw it, Android 21, female character.
Yeah, Android 21 was a character designed by Akira Toriyama himself for this game, for this story. And it's different. I mean, I don't know how to feel about it because I'm not done with the story, so I don't know her full backstory, so I don't know what she's about. But definitely, like, the story itself, it includes your character in a way that like Dragon Ball hasn't really done it before. So it's really interesting. So I say go check it out.
Yeah, I mean, I plan to get it, but my payment's like taking a while to get through from some of my extra work. So I'll have to wait on that. But I have been playing a lot of Overwatch again. They just released an update where they have a new map.
You mean still?
Yes, still. I'm still playing Overwatch a year and a half later. They released a massive patch where they have Blizzard World, which is like a map that has like homages to a bunch of like Blizzard games like World of Warcraft and Hearthstone and stuff like that. Yeah, so it has that scattered throughout the world, and it's a lot of fun. And they have like this huge update where they included 100 cosmetic items. Not like surgery cosmetic, not like they perform weird things on the characters. It's not like an operation.
Tracer got a nose job.
Tracer got a different job. But anyway. She had some things decreased because of politically correct. No, she didn't have any.
Oh, that was like really early. Like
that was really
beta,
early.
Right? Like that was like 2 years ago.
That was like 2 years ago. That's like old news where she had
like really
her booty facing the screen and everyone's like up in arms about it. But it's still in the game. It's
but I was gonna say, but they just changed the poses so it's not as in your face.
The funny thing is that they kept the pose in the game. They just changed the one they were promoting it with, but it's still in the game. Anyway, that's like really old. Anyway. Basically, there's like a lot of new cool outfits and stuff. David, what have you been watching or playing or whatever?
Well,
what have you been entertaining yourself
been
with?
Going to see a lot of movies lately because I went to Texas and my friends wanted to see a bunch of movies. And one of the movies I liked that I saw was 12 Strong.
How was that?
Now, it's getting bad reviews, but I really liked it. I think one of the reasons that the critics don't like it is because it has a very conservative message. It's a very like, okay, 9/11 just happened, and the military is the hero of the movie. Like the military is going to go into Afghanistan, and they're gonna fight the Taliban, fight Al Qaeda, and bring down the terrorist whole structure that was responsible for 9/11. And so I think that's some of what is causing it to get bad reviews because, as you know, most people that are doing these reviews are liberal or something.
So there's like, it's not being judged as a movie. It's like more of...
It's being judged as a political statement.
I think that is some of why, but I think also people are saying that the characters were flat and there wasn't a lot of nuance to it, which, you know, I think it's really close to like the true story. And I really like the action, and I think it's pretty realistic. It's also really entertaining and really fun to watch.
That's the thing. When a movie tries to go for realism and when it tries to stay close to the story, the characters aren't always going to be like these vibrant, you know, incredible characters. Sometimes they're going to be like real people, and all people aren't like these crazy vibrant characters. Some people are actually kind of flat. Except in this movie, it makes them look like super awesome because they're riding horses. It's like medieval warfare meets like Black Hawk Down. That sounds really cool. Yeah, that's what kind of attracted me to it. Just like the whole idea of like them on horses fighting a tank. In fact,
a lot of the shots are like exactly the same shots from Lord of the Rings, and you could probably make an edit that was like shot for shot Lord of the Rings. So that's really funny.
Oh man, that's great. So I had talked on another podcast about End of the Freaking World, except it's not freaking. So I watched it a while ago.
Just edit a bleep over.
Edit a bleep
over you saying
unnecessarily, just so it sounds like I'm saying it, and we just censor it with like I don't know what, but just like Meryl Streep.
No, just edit over with fudge.
Fudge. Anyway, David has recently watched all of it. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought it was good. It's a
really thought it was just good.
It was.
What are you fudging talking about?
I thought it was amazing. I thought it was really good. It was really dark, but in sort of like an ironic and endearing way. It's just like a lot of other British shows that are like a dark comedy. So if you don't like that, you probably don't watch it. But I mean, that's really, really funny. And I don't want to spoil it, so I'll leave you. I won't tell you any of the plot details, but it's just really like ironic in a way that's just like perfect.
I was gonna say, Nathanael explained it to me. It's like it's funny, but it's not funny. It's like funny, but like scary funny.
It's like it shouldn't be funny.
It shouldn't be funny, but it is funny. But is that accurate? Would you?
Yeah. It's like the things that it depicts shouldn't be funny, but they make it funny.
Huh.
Yeah, okay. And it's sort of an irreverent type of humor, I think, which is like very British.
Yeah, I've seen it on Netflix, and I've scrolled past it and been like, maybe not today. I need to be in the right mood to watch that.
Not today. Not how about not ever? And then you scroll by the next day, and you're just like, maybe maybe never.
Yeah, maybe.
So our main topic. Evan.
Yes, our main topic. We brought David on today because he is a huge Assassin's Creed fan. And
he is our resident Assassin's Creed knowledgeable expert.
He's our Assassin's Creed Lorax, if you will. So, would you please tell us a little bit about Assassin's Creed Origins, since neither of us have played it? Nope. So, can you just give us a little review on like how you personally felt playing it?
Yeah, I may have spoiled this earlier, but
you could just tell us some more.
Just tell some more about the story and just how you know what I mean. Go for it.
Yes.
You edit that out, please.
Thanks, Evan. You're giving me more work to do.
Sorry. I will give you a little review. So, Assassin's Creed Origins, loved it, played it for a long time, and I think it was one of the longest games in the series recently. And most of that is due to the size of the map. Again, I didn't explore the whole map until the end of the game. There's surprisingly fewer of those scavenger hunt quests in it, so that's good. But instead, they just made the map absolutely massive, and there's so much to do. Now, the story, I don't know if I was really a fan of like the main story as much as some of the other games, but I mean, the game looks amazing.
Yeah.
And I really like some of the weapons that you can get, the whole aesthetic of the ancient world that it presents. It's very informative.
How does like Egypt work as a setting for climbing and fighting? Is it good or is it bad? How does it work?
It actually works quite differently than say Unity, because Unity was like a city-based game, and that's where Assassin's Creed shines, is in a city. You go up and down the buildings, you go from rooftop to rooftop.
Yeah.
Now in Egypt, you don't have that. There's not a lot of rooftop jumping. It's mainly rocks, mainly sand. There are buildings, but it's mostly wilderness.
The pyramids.
The pyramids, yeah, that's fun. You can slide down them.
Ooh.
So that's, and you can also go inside them. But I think the mechanic of free running is lessened, and it's more about the vehicle/mounted travel, which is highlighted because they give you the choice of a camel or a horse, and you can get different ones, and then you can also get a chariot.
Ooh, can you get a chariot being pulled by camels?
That would be awesome. No, they don't have that. I think it would be too slow.
Boo! Not worth it.
I know because I saw firsthand. Actually, my favorite part of the game is the new alligator glitch part of the game that they have. It's a really new feature.
I only got it to happen once, and it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Explain. Tell us about it.
The alligators at one point glitched, and every time they went into their attack animation, they would stand upright with their head pointed up to the sky, and then their neck got really small, like a little hourglass thing, and then their head would go back and forth like a swivel, and just really fast
it's kind of like just like jerk, kind of like sporadically.
It looked like they were having like a spasm in front of you. And then they would like lunge at you like they were attacking like horizontally, but they were vertical.
Oh, geez.
And then the animation would stop and they would go back to their normal shape, which was fine.
Which is fine.
But you still got hurt by their attack somehow.
Yeah, and then they just go back into like this spasm and just like it's so funny. I was dying.
See, that's not even like nightmare fuel. That's like nightmare fuel that goes into the nightmare bus that goes over the nightmare cliff. Like that sounds terrifying.
And I can't get it to happen again, so that was one time.
It's a true Easter egg.
So if you can't get this to happen, the game is not worth it. Is basically what I'm saying. But no, the game is.
I can't get the alligators to glitch, and I can't get camels to carry my chariot. Boo! Worst game.
Ubisoft, what'd you do? But But this game, I've seen it. I agree. Like, the graphics are fantastic. I mean, the combat looks really nice. Just everything about it is just like really. It really seems like they put their time into this and like made it nice.
Yeah, no, it does look like it, and I just haven't gotten a chance to play it yet, but it definitely looks like a fun game that looks like something that I would want to pick up at some point. All right, so we're gonna go more broad with our Assassin's Creed talk, and now we're gonna talk about favorite games. We're gonna go around the table and see, which Assassin's Creed game in the franchise is your favorite. Now, you can take a minute to think about this, but I have an answer already. So,
is it Prince of Persia?
Not Assassin's Creed, but close. Not really. My favorite was Black Flag, and it was and a lot of people dislike that game because of the ship, all that stuff. But however, I feel like I do agree that in the beginning, in like early game, like it's really tedious because you don't have a lot of areas unlocked, so you have to sail to each area to unlock everything, so you can fast travel. But closer to endgame and afterwards, there's a lot of playability after that, because then, being able to be a pirate and pillage and like attack other ships with your ship that's like super leveled up, and you can take on these huge ships, and it's really fun, and it adds like a new level to this like Assassin's Creed universe that really wasn't there before. So the story was relatively good. I really got involved in the story. And the main character, Edward Kenway, he's a really lovable character with, a lot of flaws that I think people can relate to in some ways. That he's really selfish, and he has his ambitions that he's looking out for, and then he learns the error of his ways and kind of comes around and becomes this, genuine hero that people want to root for. So I think that is my favorite in the franchise so far. So
I think, and this is going to be controversial, my favorite one is Unity.
Ooh. I was going to say, I remember you talking trash about it a lot, so.
Yes, there's a lot of things about it that are like kind of weird, like the whole dress-up system, but I like it because it takes place in France.
Yeah.
During the French Revolution period, and it's really interesting, the history behind it. And the mechanic of going around Paris is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
They have recreated the city in a really good way without making it too big.
Mm-hmm.
They miniaturized it in a way that doesn't feel fake.
Like it's still really, really big. Like the map is really big. Like I don't want to undersell it, but they did like you said, they did kind of like shrink it down in a way that it's like it's real, but also like realistic.
Yeah, and in some ways it's like hyper realistic. Like if you compare the screenshot of real life Paris to the game, it's like the game looks better in some ways, but it's a really fun game. The story is cool, I think. Yeah. And there's a lot of story in it. So I just really enjoyed playing the game. I think aesthetically, it just looks really good.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with that. I think Unity would be like a close second for me as well. Or only because I was gonna say the gameplay is like different. Like I was gonna say the gameplay between, to compare like Black Flag and Unity together is like night and day, because like gameplay from Black Flag, the fighting is like so simple and so easy. You can take on an army of 20 guys and no problem. But with Unity, it's way more complex, and I like that in some ways because it's like it makes you actually like think about your decisions, and you don't just run in and attack everybody because you will die.
You can't just mash the same button over and over.
No, you really have to be careful and be mindful of your surroundings.
Wait, there's no win button? I don't think I want to play this game.
There's no just win button. No, there's no. Yeah.
Just like anti-self-destruct.
Like
Self-destruct your enemies.
Assassin's Creed 2, when you could just kill the whole world.
Oh,
Assassin's Creed 2? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny because that's a good segue into my favorite game. I would say it's Assassin's Creed 2. I mean, I have like a lot of nostalgic factor, and also I've only played about half the Assassin's Creeds.
Yeah.
But I remember when I first played it, I had heard a lot about the first game. People were all hyped about it. There was like a lot of stuff, a lot of flaws with it that a lot of the reviewers were talking about, and just kind of my friends were talking about it. And when I got to Assassin's Creed 2 and I finally got the game, I think it was on sale or something, and I had much fun.
I got the Ezio collection like on sale for the 360. It has it has 2 Brotherhood and Revelations.
Yeah, and Revelations was also pretty good, I think, despite being just like more Assassin's Creed 2, I guess, and Assassin's Creed, like, it was an older Ezio, and it was just really interesting.
I would definitely say Revelation is probably my least favorite.
I mean, we're not really like talking about least favorites, but if we had to talk about least favorites, I would say 3, just because I didn't finish the game. But I kind of want to blame that on the console I played it on, which was Wii U, Nintendo Wii U.
Oh yeah, that's your fault.
So it had like really bad load times. So I would
that's not Assassin's Creed fault. That's your fault.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's Nintendo's fault. The loading times on the loading screen, I kept going back and forth. I didn't know where to go. The loading time for each screen was just so long that I just gave up, and I was just like,
it's not worth going back and forth.
It's not worth trying to figure out where to go while this thing is loading. I give up.
So that's why you look up a walkthrough. You make sure where you're going first before you go anywhere.
I didn't want to. I was too stubborn, so I just didn't end up finishing the game. I also wasn't as invested as I thought it would be.
Okay, Assassin's Creed 3 is amazing because you get to explore the colonial, like Boston and stuff, and it's like a really cool look into the history of that region. So that's the reason I liked that game.
Yeah.
But overall, I wasn't like a huge fan of the entire game.
Assassin's Creed 3, it takes so long to get started. It's not worth the story for me. Like to introduce, the father and all that stuff, it's not worth the story. I didn't care enough.
See, I thought the opening was the best part of the game. What is his name? Hatham.
Yeah.
Hatham Kenway, right?
Yeah.
He his whole thing with the theater and everything.
Edward Kenway's son.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So I thought the whole opening and like the thing with the burning down the village, I thought that was incredible. Actually, it was after that I kind of lost interest. So it wasn't just a loading screen thing. I just wasn't as invested in the after story, the actual story. Yeah. I was more interested in like the just opening parts of the game. So that's interesting.
Talking about characters and naming names and all that good stuff. Who is your favorite like main character from the games? If you had to pick your favorite assassin, who would it be? I'll give you time to think about this, because like I have like a few that I would.
Do you want to tell us one of them while we think about? Just a little bit.
I mean, first comes to mind is Ezio, just because it's like he was like the poster boy for the assassins. For like 3 years.
Exactly, he had 3 games.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Edward didn't get 3 games, but I feel like it's between like Ezio or Edward for me. One Ezio because you had like the most time to be with his character like through those games. Like you had 3 games to see his character develop. Whereas Edward, it's like I feel so much for his character, just kind of like all the crap that he's been through, and then to see him have that turnaround at the end where he becomes this great hero or whatever. So it's between Ezio and Edward for me. I wouldn't be able to pick between the two. They're like tied for first for me.
Yeah, I really like Ezio. Yeah, as I'm thinking about all the main characters,
Ezio,
I think he's the most like epic like hero guy, and he doesn't have. I don't know. The other ones have like a weird quirk for me. I think Ezio's the classic.
Yeah.
And he's like what embodies the series. And again, he has 3 games where you're the hero. And so maybe just playing those as Ezio just made me like feel like he's like the real assassin. I just him.
What was the name of the original assassin, the guy from the first game?
I believe his name was, we don't care about this character. He just kind of started the series, but his name's actually Altair.
Altair, there you go.
Yeah, you can get Altair's outfit in some of the other games.
Yeah, in Revelations, you actually also play as him.
A little bit, yeah. As like a memory. That's kind of
it's like flashbacks that you play as him. They're like mini story segments. Yeah. Okay, so mine is a little bit maybe out of left field, but I would say Hatham Kenway is probably my favorite assassin, and he has like a very small part. And I know I'm just saying main character because you play as him.
Okay, all right. Because he's a Templar. He's not actually an assassin.
That's what I was gonna say. That was like a really interesting, like awesome part. I liked where they twisted around. They're like, no, he's actually a Templar, and you're like, whoa, he's a Templar. What?
Whoa. Yeah,
and also like his character. I thought he was like a really dynamic, interesting, kind of like cruel and calculated character. I just really like the antagonist vibe he kind of gives off and just what he meant for the story.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because it's in my least favorite Assassin's Creed. But I mean, Ezio is a fantastic character and everything. I mean, he's probably the obvious pick for me, but Hatham, I think, was the character I enjoyed the most for the time he was on screen.
Right.
But he's a Templar, not an assassin.
He's a Templar, yes. So now we're going to go more to like the critical side of these great games. So what, David, in just your experience playing the games, what are some ways that you would improve these games if you had any?
Yeah, the stories sometimes are a little weak. I think they're probably trying to appeal to those gamers that don't like to watch a lot of story. Although they do have quite a bit of cutscene, but I think that they could have more and better story. Some of the quests are like sort of cookie cutter. Like in some of the games, all you do is like follow people through the city. Like every quest is like the same thing where you're just like trying to hide as you tail people. And I get bored of that really quick. I think they need to have a lot more variety in the objectives that you need to do.
No, that's true. I think the biggest thing that they could work on, or maybe, I guess, I'm just thinking from Unity. I'm just thinking from that. I feel like the combat, although it was, altered to be more challenging, there are times where I feel like they could have made it more streamlined, I guess, and more like user friendly. Because sometimes I would try to do something and it would just be non-responsive. So I know that's something that's more into programming, and it's not necessarily it's something that they have a lot of control over. But I feel like there's some ways that I feel like there's got to be a way that you can make it more simpler to use. Not saying that it wasn't simple, because it's literally like B to counter and then square and then like X to attack. It's very just kind of like I agree that it's I feel like that's one way they could do it, and also. I'm talking more like programming wise, just the free running. I feel like in every game, like they haven't exactly got it down perfectly. You'll still find times where you're trying to run up something, and then like you like fall and jerk and go the other direction when you're like you're facing, and you're holding your stick forward, but your guy runs right for some reason. So I know that just goes into programming, and I know that going forward, it's like they're just going to improve from that. But I feel like that's always something that they can improve.
Yeah, I think. With Assassin's Creed, there's always like these 1, 2, 3 quirks in the gameplay that they usually need to work out, and it just like doesn't work out quite like Ubisoft wanted it to. Or like the jumping off walls, or just something about the free running, or combat isn't quite right. But there's still like the game overall, gameplay wise, I think always is like pretty great, pretty consistently great, except for a few flaws. But I think they have a huge issue with story consistency in terms of quality. They do like spend a lot of time on the story and like really try, and I think they really knock it out of the park in terms of making it seem like real and authentic, and just have it fit the setting really well. I mean, they do the research and everything, and
they have a lot of historical characters that play roles in the stories that kind of add to the like realism, I guess.
Exactly, like they got people like Benjamin Franklin and everything in there.
They have Napoleon Bonaparte in Unity.
That's awesome.
Napoleon Dynamite.
Napoleon Dynamite.
I almost said Dynamite too. I said Napoleon Bonaparte. Yeah, not Dynamite.
Oh man, David. But I think,
gosh,
do chickens have large?
We digress.
We digress into
we digress.
Napoleon Dynamite.
No,
but like the story is just. I feel like most of the time it almost gets to the point of being pretty good. But most of the time, I just am not as invested as I should be, and I don't know if it's the quality of the writers that they have. I don't know if something is lost in translation because
they're Canadian. They're like
French.
They're French or Canadian.
They're French.
They have a Canadian.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, I mean their main place is in France, or
they're Canadian.
Well, I mean they have a studio in Quebec, but they're mainly French. Yeah.
But yeah, so
I look up on the Wikipedia, and Wikipedia is always right.
They're always right before like they're like really good, and the story wise.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just maybe it's because they're trying to be so authentic that it holds back the story, or maybe they just don't want to.
I was gonna say they just don't want to take away from the game itself. I think
maybe that's it. But like David said, they do have like a lot of cutscenes. So I don't
know what's wrong. It just doesn't work a lot of times. Like what they're trying to do is like misses the mark of good storytelling.
So the last part of this last like segment we're going to go into is we're going to talk about theories or kind of like fan theories and what we'd want for future games, what we think would make a good Assassin's Creed game. And David is really excited because he has a lot of ideas. So why don't you kick us off? What are some of your ideas? What do you think would make a good Assassin's Creed game, David?
Okay, one thing they tease a lot in a lot of the games is like ancient Rome stuff, which they have done a little bit of, but I want to see more.
They did that a little bit in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, didn't they? Like, didn't they have a little bit of Rome in there?
There's been Rome in the game. I think it's
but they've been enemies. Like,
and it's too modern for me. I would like a really ancient Rome setting,
like togas.
Like if you take Origins and then just tell the Rome side of it. Maybe they're doing that. Maybe that's what they're going for right now. But I would really like to see some ancient Rome fighting action.
Like some like gladiatorial arena stuff.
Oh, well, that's already in Origins, so you can.
Oh, that's right.
You can enjoy that, but maybe like tell the Roman side of that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because like there's something more about like the Roman gladiatorial arenas that like I feel like would be. Because it would feel more powerful, like if it was behind that story, because they're more known for those for
being Romy.
Yeah.
I think, for me personally, I would like to see something on the Asian spectrum. Something in Asia. I don't know what specifically.
I was going to say, like, Japan.
I mean, I know a lot of people want feudal Japan. They want, like, samurais and stuff.
That would be amazing.
No.
I personally think that
would be awesome.
It shouldn't really go there. I think they should find some other, maybe China or something, to do something interesting, but...
It would be way too convenient for all the weeaboos out there.
Weeaboos unite, I think.
How dare you, sir?
We need to steer away from Japan. I'm going ancient China would be amazing.
Yeah, I think that would be really interesting. But I think actually...
Maybe we see a dragon or two?
Maybe so. Maybe like extra supernatural boss fights. But I actually disagree with all that. I think it should just be...
I want Thailand.
I think it should be Dragon Ball Z inspired Assassin's Creed. Just... all these amazing... No, it shouldn't be that. I would like to see some sort of like Asian influence, some Asian setting. What about you, Evan? How do you fix your glasses?
Yeah, because I need these glasses for this podcast. So I think that, and I've talked about this with a lot of people, and I kind of came up with this idea with my friends a while ago. It's modernize it a little bit, and they might be working on this. They might not be. I don't know. But modernized, like not till right now, but like probably like in between, somewhere like in the 40s, like during World War II, and have like the obvious, Templars are, with the Nazi Party, and they're the ones that are truly behind it. It's not like them, then whatever. It's Hitler,
the Templars are like behind the Nazis.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly, and they're the ones that are influencing Hitler's decisions and all that stuff. And then you have allies on the other side, but then the assassins aren't necessarily like teamed up with the allies. They are like they're two separate forces, but they both kind of have this realization of like, okay, so they kind of butt heads, but they're like, okay, like we have a common enemy, like we need to work together. And there'll be some moments where the allies want to do something, but then the assassins are like, no, you can't do that. And then the assassins have to go and stop the allies from doing something. So it's so they're butting heads while trying to take down this terrible force. And I just think the idea of like a modernized, like soldier assassin would be awesome.
That is actually really fantastic. That sounds like a World War II game I could get behind.
Ubisoft, give me money.
Guys, I'm pretty sure they're like already doing that, because there's parts in Unity and Syndicate where you get to play in World War II, and it's
that's true. That's very true. Like there's a moment
so you think they're going to go for it?
I think they might be hinting at it already, which is why this may be where some of the ideas are coming from. But I like the in Unity, you go through those wormholes and you go like to certain points like in the future. So in Unity, you go through a portal and then you see the Eiffel Tower. No, not the Eiffel Tower. Oh, you do see the Eiffel Tower.
The Papal Flower.
The Papal Flower. You see the Statue of Liberty being built, and it's still bronze. And then you go through another one, and then you're at the Eiffel Tower while Paris is occupied by Germany. like during World War II. And it's really, really cool. And you climb the Eiffel Tower and you like see like these Nazi soldiers and all that stuff. And that's really cool. So they might be hinting at it already. They might not be. I don't know where they're at. But I think that would be an amazing game. And I would play the hell out of that.
I think as we wrap up this podcast, I think we need to consider the one option that nobody has considered. I think we should have Assassin's Creed set in modern times. I would probably say, let's go with the early 2000s. You know, when iPhones are becoming a thing and people are getting touchscreen phones. I think
that then you just get Watch Dogs.
See, I don't think we should go that route. I think it should be kind of like a bully / Assassin's Creed mashup where you're playing as elementary school kids. And the two factions are like the bullies are the Templars, and like just the assassins are just like the normal kids that get beat on. And you kind of had like middle school kids getting to the point where they're like beating each other to death. And it's just like this really gory experience. I don't know what I'm saying, but Ubisoft do this.
Or what if they just had a game where you're just Desmond and you just
go to work and like you go to work, you go on a date or something, and then like you go home and like feed your cat and go to sleep or something.
It's just like a life sim with Desmond. You just like live your life, and there's no free running, there's no fighting. You're just Desmond.
You're trying to catch the bus.
You're free running to catch the bus, and it's just like the worst part of Assassin's Creed Desmond is the game. You give us the part we don't want.
For those who haven't
Desmond's Creed.
Desmond's Creed. For those who haven't played, we're making this joke because in several of the games you have to play as Desmond, and it's really boring. And
it's like modern time.
And nobody likes it.
Nobody likes it. It's just like, can we get past this Desmond part?
And they finally kill him in 3, and it's like, finally.
Now, I would say spoilers, but nobody cares about Desmond, so it's fine.
Whatever.
But thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks, David, for being here.
Thank you again, David, for coming on.
My
we
pleasure.
Really appreciate it, man. Yeah, and we'll see you guys, we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
See you.